Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Slimming Surgeon podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Candace Kickler. Today, I have Margaret Bastick Luce. She is a dynamic individual who wears many hats in her diverse pursuits. She is deeply involved in recovery, demonstrating her commitment by owning a halfway house that holds almost 56 men, where she provides support and guidance for those on the path to recovery. In the realm of publishing, Margaret serves as the publisher of Wellington magazine and the managing editor of Vivant, showcasing her expertise and passion for media. Beyond her publishing endeavors, Margaret is connected to our equestrian community in Wellington, and she herself owns 2 Grand Prix show jumping horses, which I'm sure is so fun to watch. And not content to limit herself to one field, she's also made her mark in the world of modeling and acting, previously working for both Ford and Wilhelmina agencies in the past, and her versatility and charisma shine through in her performances, captivating audiences with her talent and presence. And if you have ever met Margaret, you have felt that presence. It is real. In addition to her varied professional pursuits, Margaret is deeply committed to her own health and wellness, like myself. She has embraced functional medicine, prioritizing fitness and healthy eating as essential components of her lifestyle. As she enters kind of like what we consider our next phase of life, Margaret is dedicated to, along with me, dropping a bunch of truth bombs for you guys and inspiring others to prioritize their well-being. Throughout her journey, Margaret is continually striving for her own goals and independence, embodying a spirit of resilience and determination. With her multifaceted interests and unwavering drive, I have the Queen, Margaret Bastick Luce, here to talk with us today.
Oh my God, can that go on my tombstone?
Right? Listen, I love a good intro.
Girl, that was the ultimate intro.
But you deserve it all, and you've accomplished it all. So
thank you.
Well, we're going to roll with it.
Accomplishing, and we're working on it. You know, every day is a new chapter, right?
100%.
Just keep going forward. I heard something great the other day. I did a little hypnosis, believe it or not. 3-hour therapy session.
Nice.
And she said, anxiety is in the future. Depression is in the past. It's just all in the here and now. So, you know, getting anxious in any way behind you, in front of you, just be present.
Focus on the present.
Right now.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like this.
I know. Right. Take away the worries. But don't worry about what could or could not happen because you don't know.
You are the ultimate, though. I have to give you like your shout out because I admire you so much. And I know so many people do. You are so accomplished and you just keep going forward and moving and bettering yourself all the time, educating yourself. It's really remarkable. You're quite a cool chick.
Thank you.
Doctor.
Thank you. Yes, I know. It's a lot. And I feel like people often ask me like how or why I do so many things, but I only do things that I'm called to.
Right.
That really feel right and sit right. Just like my guests on my show are only people who I have felt would be right for this conversation and this platform. And you know, if you get that feeling, if that energy is there, then if you don't roll with it or don't take the opportunity, I feel like I would always regret something. So we live in the momentum.
And it is truly living in that you can live like that, right?
Yeah.
Because if you are living, you feel it. You
Yes.
just keep moving on. Yeah.
Exactly.
Editing and choices are also a new thing of mine.
Yes. I love how you put it that way.
Choices.
It's like we're constantly editing our lives. We're editing our social media. We're editing, the people in our lives.
Feelings, right?
Yes.
And just any negativity and just also choosing what's better. And there's so many times now with, all of this, the magazines and all of this stuff going on in work, I saw myself getting a little mentally drained this season because I've always been social, but it's been social, like lending myself to people's causes or showing up for them and knowing. And now I'm showing up and I've got the magazines and things like that. So I can see it, but it's really exhausting after a while. And the creative in me, who really is kind of a nerdy, there's a side to me that's actually not into the glam thing at all. It's like very much a character I play. And sometimes being in that scene too much, it's a little much. And then I was thinking, why am I feeling so down? because a lot of the conversations I was having were just like tit for tat, shallowness, like, how are you? Kiss, kiss, hug, hug, the 57th rosé. And you're like, what am I doing here? How is this serving me? And so I'm really great at Irish exits, as you know. I'm a pro. Pop in and out, and I can make 10 minutes look like 2 hours, and that's what it really is. So I think you can't do it all right. I mean, you have children. No. We both are very involved with our children too.
Yes.
And so you have to edit. You have to edit and make the right choices.
I think it's so interesting that you say all of these things, because I can echo all of it, the need to be a present mom, so important on my priority list, just like it has been yours throughout Claire and Conrad's lives. Like you are so active with them. And I love that because you're also able to be yourself and do your own thing, have your creative side, have your business side, and kind of function in all of them. But I agree, last season, and it was coming out of having a baby, I tried to do everything. Like I tried to go to every charity event. I tried to go to everything that I was invited to, and I was exhausted. Yeah. And, there's a little bit of that that's postpartum, but a little bit of that that's just giving your energy to people that don't necessarily deserve it.
Exactly. When your body and your breasts are really calling for your child is calling you, So I think to get a little crunchy and really true, that's really what it's all about, So when they say you can have it all, you can, but something has to be sacrificed, right? And for me, at that point, I didn't want to. I had really the greatest years were 1 through 6. And unfortunately, I don't remember how much I sacrificed for them.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day they will, but 1 through 6 is the best time ever, because they're totally in your care. And it's just when they get on that first little school bus, they're off. And my mom always told me that. She said, once that bus comes, it's like they're not yours anymore, and they are, but the time changes.
Totally.
It's a really good bonding time.
Totally. Yeah, no, I'm trying to embrace that. Even the last episode I recorded, I was telling the girl, one morning I woke up and it was, it was a clingy day. Cam needed me. He just wanted to be held. That's it. There's not much I could have done about it other than feel like a bad mom by just telling him no. And it's like giving him those moments I know are going to pay dividends in the long run.
Yeah.
Sacrificing a 15-minute body weight workout, whatever I can make it up later.
Exactly. And that's why we eat so clean. Because, you
Amen.
Can't.
Right.
Listen, it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen just by chance or by a year of working out. I mean, it's a lifetime. It's really a commitment, right? Skincare, all of it. It's not like you're going to get a facial or a laser and you're going to be cured. It's really habits of healthy people with having a little fun along the way.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with having a little fun.
Of course.
And then knowing, listen, the night before a facial, I don't wash my face. It's my naughty moment. I'm going to be a bad girl because I'm getting my facial the next day. So it's kind of funny, but it has to do with a lot of things in life, right?
Yeah.
You have to be ready to roll.
Yeah. No, I actually had a patient comment on my skin today, and I was like, she's like, you don't have anything. And I'm like, well, not, I am a little younger than her, but also it was like, well, it's also the compounding effect,
Sure.
I do a little bit, a lot.
Sure.
And it's not a lot. I'm not spending tons of money to do it, but I'm also in the industry. How would it look if I were in the industry of plastics and aesthetics and, just had crappy skin? So you have to do a little bit along the way. Those facials add up. That medical grade skincare adds up. The laser every now and then, every year or 6 months. While it's not a lot at the time and it's not major surgery, the benefits reward themselves through the years.
Absolutely.
As you don't age as quickly as others.
True.
Or who wait until everything is totally fallen to do anything about it, kind of a thing.
It's true.
So, I don't want to jump right into aesthetics because I feel like you have so many great other things to talk about. Let's jump back towards the functional medicine and your health, go-tos. What are things that you have always kind of done consistently through the years for your health?
So for my health, I have worked out consistently. I consider myself an athlete. I do pretty much every sport there is to do. I don't jump anymore on horses. My lower back, I don't want to hurt myself. I skateboard. I do all those crazy things of fun, but I work out like an animal. If you see me on Instagram, you know that this is not, I do work out. I'm up early, regardless of what time I go to bed. I'm typically up at 6:30, training, doing a little bit of everything. And it's also not like really long workouts. 30 minutes is enough as long as it's, weighted. I put on 4 pounds of muscle this year, which is really a big deal. But I actually added Smorlin. I did a treatment of the peptide Smorlin.
Yeah.
And I found that really worked well for me. I just did 1 vial. And I mean, you can stay on that, as you would know more than me as a doctor. But I really found that very helpful. The peptides are great at this point in life to keep it up. And, again, trying to stay as clean and natural as possible,
Right.
So
it's great that you've embraced that, because you can tell, like, in your, just like the way that you are, your charisma, like your energy, your glow from within, all starts from everything you're ingesting, not just your food, not just your peptides and things like that, but also the content you're ingesting, the people that you're ingesting, all of these things really make a huge difference. And that goes back to functional medicine. It's not just about, the vitamins and things like that. It's about your overall well-being.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I had that test done, that genetic test where your markers are, and I'm much, much more under I'm very below my target, my age. So that was really kind of cool.
I know.
I hope it's true.
I love, I know. We'll never really know, but
I'm going with it.
Amen.
Because I do see some pretty old 28-year-olds. I'm like, okay, and again, everything in life isn't just a quick fix. I mean, you get your lift, you get your this, you get your that, but it's like, you still have to have the skin, you still have to do the tightness and the tone. And also athletics are really helpful for my mental health.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what I would do without really getting my adrenals up there and, just purged. I'm also a big dry sauna, infrared sauna. I've been into for years. That's the one thing I should have invested in.
I know, right?
Because
my home,
everybody about it. But I've been doing that now for over 20 years, and I love it. I've also added red light therapy to my little program. I try things. I swim certain parts of, our
Sweating.
friend that introduced us, Roy Warren. Yes. I mean, Roy is so fab. And, he got me swimming and I loved it. Actually, it was the loss of my brother that I started swimming because I was not breathing. Yeah. I found myself really just sucking, little bits of air, and it was great. And he really was such a good friend. So went to the pool, got in there, and they're like, professional swimmers. They're amazing. And, that was great. So I learned how to breathe again, and I started singing. Yeah, we had an opera teacher come to the house.
And Conrad sings.
And Conrad sings, yeah.
Her son, who is so handsome and excelling.
Freshman at Notre Dame.
Oh my gosh. Do you miss him?
I do, but I'm one of those moms it's a very healthy balance. Yeah. And I don't need a lot from them. I gave them what I had to give. You put them out there in the world. And then I always had my own career and life, and you trust, We're very, very close. We're actually very similar. Mm-hmm. We're very, very similar. So when he's home alone, when it's just the two of us, we love to chill. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the house gets a little intense.
Yeah. Yeah. See, you and Conrad are me and Charlie. Like we're the same. It's like he's me, but a boy. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And it's so nice to have the first one as a boy.
Yes.
It really is.
It's the best.
And then my little Claire Bear is an incredible golfer, beautiful girl, lovely girl. She's 17. So, those hormonal things are happening.
Oh, Lord. See, this is why I'm glad I didn't have a girl.
Yeah. Well, I remember I felt like getting really high school with her, and I'm like, dude, you're not that cool. Okay, don't talk to me like that. I'm cooler than you guys.
Oh, my gosh.
I didn't go there. Well, I kind of went there, actually.
I feel like it could be really hard.
Well, when they treat you like you're a loser, you're like, excuse me.
Yeah, you have no idea, sweetie.
No idea, sweetie. Like, people like me. I was very popular.
Yeah. I know. I can. And also I feel like it would be interesting to have you as a mom, if you're a girl, because of how beautiful, how charismatic, like your accomplishments in modeling and acting, like that's a lot for a young girl to digest. Like, does that ever come up, or like, how do you, okay.
No.
Good.
No, it really doesn't, actually.
That's good. That's healthy.
Her girlfriends really like me. Actually, it's the sweetest thing, and you'll get this. So I was at her prom the other day, and her bestie Lily came up, and the sun was gleaming, and I had this like Amion serum on. It's like this lovely serum that gives you a glow. I put it on over my makeup. And she said, "Oh, Mrs. Luce, I want your skin. I want to be you when I grow up." And I was like, "Oh my God, can you tell Claire that?" So it was really cute. Right. But she said, "Your skin just keeps getting better and better." And I was like, "What a sweetheart." And I mean, to know that. at 17. That was like one of her girlfriends. So I think that's always the way, right? You know.
Well, and it sounds like she has good girlfriends.
She does have
willing to
really good girlfriends.
Compliment other women and not be jealous and things like that.
Yeah.
It's such a hard age.
She's a Capricorn. She is not. Aren't you a Capricorn?
I'm an Aries.
You're an Aries. Okay. You successful. Boss babe.
Fire.
Yeah, she's very confident. She has very good friends, and she does not deal in any drama, which I love. I love that. Yeah,
that's a blessing. Yeah. So you're doing great. They're doing great, which is awesome.
Yeah. And they're spiritual. We've had a pretty, we have a good base of that, which I was raised with, and I think that it saved me in so many times in so many situations.
Well, it's such a guiding force, and I really feel for children who grow up without that because I see it,
We all do. Yeah.
Charlie's he's in a Christian school, so he's great. And we take him to church and things like that. And I grew up Catholic like yourself, but, friends in our neighborhood, zero faith. And it's, you just see a difference in the eyes of the children.
It's a coldness.
Yes.
It's really interesting because when people tell me they just have zero faith, and I have so many Jewish friends too, that I love their faith. I love Judaism.
No, it doesn't have to be Christian. It doesn't have to be specifically anything, but something.
Buddhist, Muslim, as long as it's just, steeped in kindness and goodness. A higher power, positive stuff, That's really, so I always encourage my friends that say, oh, I'm going to give them the choice. Well, you're not going to make a choice at 17 or 18 to choose a religion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Unless you join a cult. We don't want any Kool-Aid.
Possible these days.
Well, listen, we know it, right? And we know so many kind of pseudo cults out there, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be careful.
You do. Yeah. You really do. So we talked kind of like, Margaret and I kind of prepped a little bit before this and wanted to hit a couple topics. Like, let's touch on, some of the things that I feel like people are dealing with today, like codependency, issues with the relationships, maybe even touch on narcissism a bit. What have you been seeing in your circle that's kind of been alarming, or maybe in the culture lately?
I've seen a tremendous amount of gaslighting. I had the weirdest trip. I won't get into it too much.
But it's hard to say things and stay anonymous.
Exactly. It's going to be
without someone knowing, right?
Follow my Instagram for more.
Yeah.
Well, and it's okay, but I'm typically not a girly trip girl because I'm always working. I've created a few brands. I've been working throughout the years, and I don't really make a big deal of things. I just kind of do them, right?
Yeah.
And also I don't really enjoy it. Like, I love kind of cultural trips. I live in the sun and the water here down. So the last thing I want to do is go to the Bahamas and drink margaritas with somebody. I want to go into a city, Paris, New York, London, blah, 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 culture. And at any rate, I went on this little trip, and there were people that I really didn't know that well. There were some girls that were really nice because they felt some energy was going off. And it was like the wrong cast.
Yeah.
I was not supposed to be there. And I didn't know what was really going on, but I was very gaslit. And I took that to, wait a minute, Margaret, you opened up yourself to this person. Why? Because I'm empathetic. And so people like us, the people like that are drawn to the light. And I am a light seeker. I'm a light worker. I always have been. And I give people time, and I can see people if they need a friend, if they need some help. But then sometimes, the wrong people come at you also. And it's like, so I'm learning how to filter that out. Lead with kindness, take care, listen to what they have to say, and then, kindly move on. Because again, editing choices.
Yeah.
So that was just an interesting little scenario. And new people too, be careful because you just don't know.
You don't. I feel like we are so similar in this because I want to give people the opportunity. I want to give people the benefit of the doubt. I'd love to help almost everyone.
Yeah, you do.
But then they steal your energy and try to take things from you that you sometimes learn a little too late. But
exactly,
it's a lesson I'm learning in life. Definitely
staying open and present. Right. And really what I do is I give you a chance, and I do have a very powerful personality also. And I know that I can help people. I just, it's something in me, and it doesn't have to be announced or spoken about, but
I can
see things. I have a very high EQ. I can not IQ.
EQ.
EQ. I don't know how high my IQ is, but it can't be that low.
No.
But at any rate,
we're here right now.
We're here, baby. But no, so I do feel things, and I think sometimes I can be mistaken for a fool, right?
Yes.
So we have to be really careful and protect our own energies, because there's a lot of darkness out there too, and I feel it sometimes. And when I feel it, I say, oh, this is another little great tip. You know, when your heart rate goes up and you think like, oh my God, this is so exciting, and it's butterflies because you're really happy to be with that person. Sometimes it can be the opposite. It could be your body warning you. Because when some people hit me immediately with a lot of bad news, it's like, okay, take a breath now. It's been 45 minutes and I haven't even like ordered my coffee. It's like, be careful with that. You know, protect your own boundaries, protect your space, be there, be a really good human being, do your best, but don't enable.
Yeah. Right. And I feel like what you said with politely exiting, I think politely exiting quickly is important.
Yeah.
They say the smartest ones are the first to jump ship. Like when you realize something is amiss.
Exactly.
It really takes intelligence to get out early.
To just, to get out.
And move on.
And it just drains you and you find yourself drowning in it, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I just, even negative things, or if somebody shows me who they are, I'm just trying my best to exit strategy. And like that incident, I found it really weird. And, you know, hopefully one day I'll have a discussion with that person and say, you know, hey, what was going on? But I'm sending love and light because obviously something was going on.
Yeah.
And it was like just this attack out of nowhere. It was bizarre. Yeah. But, you know,
Awful.
I think people sometimes look at you and even Instagram, and that's the only thing. They're like, oh, she has it so great. She has it this. I'm very invitational with mine. I want people to play with me. I don't want to stand there and say, you know, oh, this is me. I'm such a big deal and da-da-da. No, it's like, it's invitational. Let's play and let's get some good messages out there.
Right.
It's really what it's about.
I love that.
Spreading some love.
Yeah.
We all need it, babes.
100%.
Right?
It's a tough world, especially as exposed as we all are all the time.
All the time.
You know, this didn't exist 15 years ago before social media, but now people can see you constantly and you're opening yourself up every single day that you put yourself out there, and it's tough.
It is tough.
We're not all meant to be celebrities who can just not, and they don't always but tolerate that, you know, feedback, that's constant criticism. So really, I think you're true in that you have to protect yourself and protect your energy.
Yeah, because it's a spiritual warfare sometimes also that we're going through, right? And I think the girls, like I started writing about it years ago, like, you know, don't let anyone dim your light. And I've dimmed my light a lot to make other people comfortable. And I think the older you get, you just become so much more confident and like, why the hell did I do that? That person wasn't even worth it.
Literally.
And why do I have to dim myself for them to feel better? Like, get off the sofa and do something with your life. You know?
We could talk about that for years.
Oh yeah.
So speaking of the confidence, you know, I get asked that a lot, like, oh, how do you get your confidence? Da, 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 da. Part of it, I'm like you in that I play a character.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I have to. It's my role. It's my job. It's my duty. And it gets me where I need to be in life. But for you, you know, with your acting and your modeling background, like, was it easy for you? Did these things come to you naturally? Is it just a gift? Like, speak about confidence and that in your life.
So when I was younger, actually, I was just so excited and grateful to get a job. Mm-hmm. Now I sort of expect it. I'm like, you know, and it's so interesting because I'm older, right? And so in that industry, it's sort of
older is relative. She's not old at all.
No, but older, like when you're 20 and you're walking every runway in Europe, which I was, you're sort of like grateful and happy. I was never really full of myself. I was always very grateful because I also had a great work ethic. I couldn't believe the money I was making.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. And so, you know, now I kind of do expect it because I know what I have and I know what I bring to the table. So I'm actually quite more valuable than I've ever been in that regard. And I think, you know, that's why I started working again. I thought, you know, I'm doing all this stuff for free. I'm, you know, highlighting things on Instagram that are my favorite. They sell out of every gene, you know, it's funny.
Yes,
so then I started
Alvin Alleys,
the Alvin
right?
Valleys.
Alvin Valleys.
Yeah,
I haven't
he's my
tried
friend.
them, but I want to because you wear them. It looks so good.
Well, he's in North Palm, so we'll go over to the store together. He's fabulous. Yeah, I'm having dinner with him tonight. But I signed back with the agency and just with Rona, my old agent from Wilhelmina. So we're working together, and it'll be easier for me because it's just a one thing where I'm not going to have to fly all over the place.
Right.
But I'm working on so many fun things right now, and I'm just, you know, there are really nothing. I don't know. There's just sort of nothing stopping me.
Right.
It's all happening. It's all happening without really doing anything. And that's why I know it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's just things are appearing. And it's not like I'm sitting, I have to get better at manifestation because I thought to myself. I was
going to say, are you manifesting these things or subconsciously? Because maybe you're a subconscious manifester and it's just happening and you're not knowing how or why because you're not being intentional about it, but you are doing it.
I'm doing it. I think I'm doing it. Even the other day I was driving down the road and I saw an old friend of mine, a very prominent attorney in New York. And I said, that's not going to be him. He's not in Palm Beach Gardens. Well, anyways, I got a call 2 days later and they were in town with some mega friends of mine from New York and just like a real intellectual fun group, that I miss because I do miss being in the city. I mean, I have to say, like it's
I know,
great here,
I didn't say that. You're a city girl, you're a Hamptons girl, you're a Palm Beach girl. Like if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Yeah. Well, I was raised in Westport, Connecticut, and it was an hour from the city. So that was my little gift. And that's how I started modeling. And I studied at HP Studios. I mean, I had a really full life at a very young age in New York. Yeah. So it's kind of, it's really nice. And I miss that. So I was steeped in that culture and I do miss those levels of conversation sometimes.
I think your self-confidence as you gain more experience and you accomplish more things translates into self-worth. Yeah. And that allows you to manifest the things that are meant to happen for you because you innately feel that confidence and that worthiness to get whatever it is that you want and to accomplish whatever it is that you want.
True.
And I think you're a true testimony to that.
Thanks. Thank you.
So tell us about the magazines.
Oh my gosh.
I want to know more.
So I started dabbling with this little column with a friend of mine that came down here from New York. It was Metropolitan. And I said, hey, I'd love to write a column. If you haven't, you should. Sort of that little fun, easy, if you haven't, should, to fill my adventurous spirit. So I wrote for him for a while. And then I realized there's something to this because I do love print. There is a market for print.
I do too.
I love it. And especially,
it's something you can grab. It's tangible.
It's tangible. And I'm tired of looking at screens all the time. The last thing I want to do is really look or scroll through a screen, although I do find myself on Instagram so much because I work so much through Instagram, you know, and that's what's challenging. We all do. So, but at any rate, so I went on to work with Lux, and it was so mad because the publisher knew my mom. My mom was her religious teacher, CCD teacher. And it's funny, and I never knew Colleen. So we met in the Hamptons. I was promoting a CBD drink that I was working on. And then we created this relationship. She said she wanted to expand the area down here. I'm here, obviously. So there you have it. So I came on board with Lux, and then we changed it, rebranded it to Vivant. There's quite a few Lux magazines out. There's LUX, LUXE.
Yes.
And it's just over. It's
modern
done.
Luxury, someone takes that word every time.
So I thought, we came up with this. It's easy. It's ours. And it's timely. And then we created Wellington magazine because the move out there is incredible. I mean, it is just, this area is growing.
Yeah.
It's scary, actually.
I know.
It's the one thing about Instagram, you don't want people to post too much, and especially up by us here, because this is the Gold Coast.
I know.
I'm happy everybody wants to be in Palm Beach. Stay there.
I know. Even today I was looking and some Peloton instructor was in Jupiter. I'm like, why are you in Jupiter?
Why are you in Jupiter?
Go. Jupiter. This is protected land. Go to Palm Beach. Go to Del Rey.
Del Rey is lovely. The Ray Hotel.
Yes,
I love it.
Everyone
went dancing there. Yeah. Guys, actually the restaurants are fabulous in Del Rey.
Yeah. It's so tough. It's so tough.
Yeah.
We're just getting bombarded here. I've been here for about 13 years, which isn't that long, but it's something.
But it is a long time.
It's a long time. Yeah. I feel like a true Floridian.
You are.
And my babies are born here. My husband is from here, born and raised.
Benjamin boy.
And just to see the growth and the traffic, it's so wild how different it is. It used to be, we really had a season, but now season's kind of indefinite.
So I have a funny story to tell you. I was doing the Tracy Anderson up in Watermill. I'm up in the Hamptons in the summer. So I'm doing this class, and this lovely girl, a dermatologist, and her sister was a little high maintenance, if you get my drift. Yeah. So the sister of the high maintenance sister is telling me, oh, my sister is moving to Palm Beach Gardens. Next day, I saw the sister. I said, hey, you're moving to Palm Beach Gardens? She literally looked apoplectic. And she said, no, Palm Beach. And I said, okay.
Yeah. Okay, sweetie.
It's okay, sweetie.
Yeah.
You and your little Birkin bag are going to be just fine. But it's that kind of funny elitist thing for people that don't even know where they are. Like
Literally.
they're all coming down. They came down from COVID, you know, and so I appreciate it. And I have so many great friends that have benefited from it. I mean, the restaurants are great. The scene is great.
Yeah.
But then there's also, don't forget where you are, you know, like we are in Florida and it's the South. Chill out. Don't expect, you know, rapid, you know, fire, you know, service, right? I mean, it's getting better and better, but I do like the slow roll of Florida.
Of course.
Flip-flops and jean shorts. I mean, you know, on Worth Avenue now.
Oh my gosh.
Now it's head to toe Chanel.
Literally. Yes. Or Hermes, like everyone.
Everybody has Hermes. I know. I put all my bags away. Put them away.
I know. Well, and half the time you can't tell if these people are carrying real or not because it's just like so overdone.
Well, and you know, that's also the funny thing, right? So that's always what sort of driven me crazy about promoting that. You know, when you see 35-year-old girls with 3-4 Birkin bags, first of all, I mean, unless you're, you know, an heiress, it's not, you know, we know what you're doing and it's not coming from a 30-year-old guy. Sugar daddy. Yeah. You know, and it's sort of like, is that really like, why not invest in a house? I mean, the smallest bags now are 4,500, right? 5,000 real, whatever you get it real for 7,500, 35,000. And you say to yourself, jeepers, creepers, like, why not invest in property or something? So that's just, it's a different mindset of that feeling that people need those things to feel better about themselves. And that makes me sad. Like that kind of makes me really sad.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, that's the world we live in and the area we live in a little bit.
But I find that people that really have it don't show it and they 100%. Don't need to show it. So my girlfriends, like growing up in Westport, it's kind of funny. It was like docksiders and station wagons and like, you know, bags and maybe you got one great outfit, you know, you buy really well. I find this kind of new mentality is just buy a lot of stuff and have a lot of stuff and just look like I'm rich. Right. Yeah. And it's kind of annoying.
It is annoying. Well, and it's hard to
like, but like you said, is it real or not? So it's sending a false precedence to a lot of young women out there. I was at a panel the other day and I won't mention what it was, but it was a little out of touch because there were students there and they were asking questions on people that have made it in life. And they were like, no, you need to do this. You need to go to New York. And it's like, well, you don't need to do that at all. You can do things online and you can start a little boutique around the corner here. And so it was very interesting how it also kills the spirit and the youth needs to be inspired and they need to be built up. And listen, it takes work. My life happened through a tremendous amount of hard work. Yes. I mean, trains, you know, I was on track and field in school. I mean, I worked really hard and then I was in the city every day, you know, taking trains and working, traveling, you know, going to Europe for 2 days, coming back and going, you know, entering school. So it's not easy. It takes hard work. And I think there is a little bit of a false precedent out there that it's so easy.
No, it's not easy at all. And every like self-development podcast or book or lecture that I listen to, at the end of the day, it boils down to hard work.
That's it.
You're not going to get from A to Z and Z being high in the sky without effort. Yeah. Repeated effort, consistency, you know, communication, drive, ambition, and that can't be, you know, hit and miss. It has to be constant. True. So putting in that effort and hot take, I mean, college, it's overrated. Yeah. Unless you know exactly what you're going there for, like me, okay, yes, I want to be a doctor. I have to go to college to get there. There are so many paths that you can take to get to a wonderful, prosperous, abundant life where you're actually doing something for other people without going to school. Yeah. You know, so that's also something that's not taught to young kids and people going into high school and things like that. My brother's a welder and a farmer, and it's like salt of the earth people still need to exist.
Oh my God, listen, it's our biggest issue with addiction today. You know, school took out trade. So I have so many 20-year-old, 30-year-old guys. And by the way, I'm on the board of the Fern House, which is a halfway house too. So I'm not the full, you know, it's a nonprofit. So there's an amazing board involved, an incredible community, and it's been around for a really long time. And I feel very, you know, very strongly about it, but we are nonprofit. So we take guys in, they pay $200 a week and they go to work and they come home 2 mandatory meetings a day. They're fed. It's not, you know, it's not luxurious, but all of these rehabs, whether it's $200 a week or $80,000 a month, honestly, it's about, come on, you know, if you want to change your behavior, if you want to change your life, you can. You can do it in a tent and you can do it. It's obviously nicer to do it in a spa environment.
Of course.
But
not everyone has that luxury.
Not everybody has that luxury.
Yeah.
And sometimes the people that have that luxury, I find don't take it as seriously because they'll just go back again and check in like it's a kind of spa, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm just going to, I had my friend's daughter is so cute and she's like, oh, I'm going to go. And, there's some celebrities there. And it was like, no, it's not like that. You won't be on your cell phone. You won't be, taking selfies and that kind of thing. It's so cute. But yeah, anyways, getting back to the trade, it's a big problem, I think, with young men here too, that men have really been,
they've lost masculinity.
They've lost the masculinity and they've been taken out of the market in a sense. It's been all about the girls and the girls and the girls and the girls, but guys still need to be, we all want guys, right? We all want men. I mean, at the end of the day, I am not interested in somebody that's not a gentleman, and a lady. Like I like that, but I like that difference. And we can be anything we want to do, but it doesn't take away your manners or your, just.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And chivalry.
It's so chivalry, it's a very complicated time. But I find the schools taking out trade really affected our guys. Like your brother's a farmer and a welder, and that's amazing. And we need that. We have mechanics that are just like the American muscle cars. Oh, there's like, you can't find anybody to work on them.
There's no one who can do that. Exactly.
And it's a gift. Plumbers can make as much money as attorneys now.
Oh my gosh.
So
absolutely.
We're bringing that
few.
into the halfway house. We're bringing in some training programs. Yeah.
No, I think that's so important. And, I grew up in Alabama, so those trades, they still exist there. But even like physical education is no longer required every single year in school. It's like optional.
Are you kidding?
You can opt into different things. Oh yeah.
I won
we wonder why
award.
Obesity is such a problem.
It's so sad.
Health is not taught.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
The opposite of health is taught and given.
Yeah.
For free.
I didn't know that it was taken out. Yeah. I guess you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, your kids are in a different school, so they probably still have it. Regularly.
That is so sad. And the moment of silence, I think, regardless of, everybody tries to turn everything to prayer. It doesn't have to be prayer. The moment of silence is just gathering your thoughts before the bell rings, sitting there meditating, right? I mean, if they called it meditating, that would probably be safer than even a moment of silence.
Well, it'd probably
right?
be accepted.
It'd be accepted, yeah. But just any moment that you take to just gather your thoughts, clear them, what's going on in the world is so frightening. I mean, look, it's scary sending your kids out there, right? When you don't know the mental health of somebody and the ignorance and ignoring with all of these rules of what you can and cannot do. I mean, that young man that, it was clearly stated that he was a threat to the community. I mean, and little children. I mean, he was going after little ones because he said, this latest case, that they were easy targets. I mean, it's like documented how this person was allowed to, it's kind of scary.
It is scary. And it's, you shouldn't have to tiptoe around everything. And that I feel like is the world that we live in today.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like something happened at Charlie's school and, it was not anything major by any means, but it kind of just like raised our eyebrows.
Sure.
And even my husband was like, well, I don't know what we can do. And I was like, what do you mean? We're parents. You say something. We say something to the teacher. We say something to someone above the teacher because people need to know. Like if it were my child that said this on the playground or whatever, I would want to know. And if no one says anything, then it's just the blind leading the blind and accepting what's happening. Whereas like you're a parent and you're a teacher and you're a school administrator for a reason.
Yeah.
It's to help wrestle these things and keep them at bay so that people can work and go to school and function in a healthy environment. We've lost that for fear of just like, offending someone.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Well, the whole thing. I mean, it's, they really want to take away our power. We can't let them do that.
No, you really have to stand up for what's right and be active and involved. That's
and
the one thing.
defend yourself. Look, you have to learn how to defend yourself. I did not get through New York and all of that in my life and avoiding the, traps of drugs and all of those like seductions that come through modeling. I didn't get through that, without, unscathed. I mean, it was, I definitely was raised right. And anything that I did, if it was good or bad, I knew
what could happen.
What could happen. Exactly.
Yeah. That's one thing I think you have to teach your kids.
You really do.
And you can't be perfect. Like this is one thing that I think has really helped me. My parents were not perfect. by any means. But growing up with parents that weren't necessarily perfect, I was able to see what could go right, what could go wrong, the good things, the amazing things that they did for our family, and the things that I was like, don't really want that to happen to me when I'm an adult kind of a thing.
Right.
So learning from other people, I think, is important. You know, when there's a lesson to be learned, point it out to your kids and things like that, or even your friends. Like, this is not about parenting. This isn't a parenting podcast, but it's just a life podcast. And doing those things with your friends and your colleagues and things like that, I think make a difference, because we all are so focused on the superficial that sometimes it's important to have the real conversations.
Oh God. Yeah. And you have to, and those are dangerous sometimes. And that's why you also have to be willing to let people go.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. You may not always align.
Yeah. You may not.
Yeah.
It's what it is. And sometimes we just pass through each other's lives. You never know. I don't know the whole meaning of life. What is it?
We're going to get really deep today.
Figure it out.
Yeah, we all are. Of course. Okay. Well, speaking of the superficial, aesthetics, plastics,
love it.
You know, skincare, you say you get facials regularly.
Yeah. And lasers. I've done a lot of facials. I've done lasers, and you know, I love my Lori.
Yes. Lori Anthony, North Palm Beach Aesthetics.
My girl.
Right.
And I started doing baby fraxels with her when she was at a place in West Palm. And it's kind of funny. I really trust her. And I think that's the thing. You know, look, you have to trust somebody. And as long as they don't look strange, you know, you're good.
Also very important. Extremely important.
Because I've seen some people that look really weird. Like even some of the health doctors, there was one lady that was like, oh my God, I mean, she looks like she's stuffed in sausage casing. I'm like, why am I going to take advice from you?
You know,
no offense, like a fat trainer.
No, it's so true.
You know, sorry.
A fat
like
trainer.
one's going like smoking and drinking a martini.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. Not that I've had that, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I actually got that comment the other day. I was speaking to like a boyfriend of a friend that I hadn't met yet. And he's like, oh, you do plastic surgery? Like, you look really normal.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Yeah. Everyone else that I've met in that industry looks really crazy. And I'm like, yeah, that's not the goal.
No.
The goal is to look like yourself.
To look like yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, really important, because we are all so special. And even our quirks, you know, I think in life, when I think back to some of my favorite models also, there was always something off. Like, you know, we all have something off. And it's like, if you fix it and you try to match it and make it perfect, like my girlfriend Noemi was a big model in Spain, and she had this wonderful nose, but it looked like she'd been punched.
Yeah.
But it was sexy. She had Spanish, and she was like fiery, and like, you know, you just think of bulls and flamenco when I think of her.
Yeah.
And she was a huge, you know, she had a really big career, especially on the runway, and she fixed her nose. And honestly, it's like it changed her whole jam.
Yeah.
It changed her whole jam up. So I think whatever you choose to do, you know, choose to do it with the right person, and, you know, do it well and do what you really need, you know?
Yeah.
And obviously, if you want to get your nose done, that's, I think, one of the biggest surgeries, right?
Yeah.
Noses, right?
Noses, breast, you know,
noses, breast.
and then non-invasive, obviously lips and cheeks and things like that. But people are getting way overboard.
Well, they're looking like blowfishes, right?
Yeah.
And then you look swollen. And then God forbid you drink alcohol. They look like alcoholics.
Yeah.
They're like, so
this pufferfish situation.
Pufferfish. Yeah. It's funny. There's a plastic surgeon in Paris who's fab. And my girlfriend went to him. She lives over there. And there was a very notable girl that went in. She was also a big model, and he made her wait. He was like, nope, I can't work on you until all of that filler disappears, because it was, he called her moon face. Is that something you've heard? Moon face? Yeah.
Well, it's typically associated with like issues with your adrenals and like your cortisol and like just the way your body processes inflammation. Yeah.
Because you get all of that
moon faces. Yeah. Like very round and just like swollen.
Yeah. And not a good look.
No, it's not. It's not the goal.
Well, you know, in photography, you have to be careful. So I always have tried to stay about 3-4 pounds under what I, you know, feel great at, but it's the camera adds weight.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty small now, and I find that my cheekbones stick out. So, and then when you're thinner, your cheekbones stick out naturally. So, you know, there's a lot of things I love. You know, Lori, as I told you, I've done Botox now for many, many years. And I think, you know, when girls call me and they ask my advice and they're 28, they're like, is it too early? I've been hiking with supermodels that started it at a very, very young age, because it's preventative.
Exactly.
And I think everything that you do is preventative. Like drink your water, get really healthy, start taking nutrition seriously, you know, especially if you're, you know, before babies. I mean, I gained 40 pounds with just baby, but it was like, boom,
that's nothing.
3 weeks later, it was gone, because I was healthy and I was feeding my baby, not trying to do like be a Pilates queen.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it, girls.
Same.
Have a good time.
I was the same. I gained, I think 35 with one and 30 35 to 40 with the second.
Yeah, it's
you
normal.
don't need to eat for 2.
No.
That's such a misconception and honestly just not healthy at all.
No. And you're building their cells, you want them to have strong cells. So, that's it. But I've always taken care of myself, facials, for everything from
microneedling,
but I'm a big
also
cleanser. The girl that I go to really gut cleans my skin.
Yeah.
And, because when you wear a lot of sunscreen and you're doing this and that, the lasers I find, are interesting. I don't know. And I wanted to ask your theory on this. Like, do you believe in one big bang laser or do you like little ones along the way?
I like the compound effect. I like a little bit along the way.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that.
Nothing too damaging because you know what? That one time could be a little too much. And then you look weird for the rest of your life.
So there's something called Ellacor. Have you heard of the Ellacor?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
I looked into that and I thought it was very interesting.
It is interesting. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. And that's essentially, removing little micro channels of your skin. And then it's similar to microneedling, but different because it's actually removing them versus just pushing things out of the way like a needle does.
Takes away the need for surgery, possibly temporarily.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's definitely kind of like that bridge procedure where it's like doing this work. I think it's also compounded with some type of energy, either radio frequency or something. I'm not exactly sure because I don't have the device, but I have looked into it and I've seen really good before and afters. And I think things like that can definitely be beneficial.
I've also seen where it didn't go well. And my friends have said that there's hyperpigmentation.
Some people are more prone to that than others.
Right.
So you have to know your skin. You have to go to someone who's going to assess you. Like I think the biggest mistake people make is just like deciding on a treatment, thinking it's right for them and going somewhere that they're going to just do it without actually knowing your skin, knowing how your skin responds to treatments, knowing like, what your hormones, how they play into your skin. And if you are hyperpigmented or not, if you've got vitiligo or not, like what daily products you've been using for years and years, like all of these things play into the equation of what's going to be right for you.
Exactly.
And what do you want to get out of it? Like if you want this crazy major result and you want to look slick, then maybe you get that. Yeah, maybe you get that super aggressive laser once or twice.
There's that actress that, and I'm not going to mention her name because it's kind of mean, but it's like everybody says, as long as I don't look like that, because I think she's known for doing a ton
Too much.
It's like a super wax face. It's like, what's going on there? You're so pretty.
Yeah.
And it's also not human. Like I like to have fun. Like I want to jump in the sun. I want to jump in the water. I mean, you've got to live, right? So sometimes when you do too much of that stuff too, it's like you
don't look real. Yeah, exactly.
You can't go anywhere. You've got to wear. I mean, I do wear a big sombrero.
Yeah.
Playing golf, which I'm known as like the sombrero girl.
Yeah.
And those are the Australian hats that the lifeguards wear.
Yeah.
And I wear those all the time. Actually, it's really great for my swing because my swing gets like nice and wide. At any rate, I've always worn that. And look, I have great skin. My mom is
genetics are important.
Genetics are really important. And I think, if you don't have them, you just have to work a little harder at it. But my dad was a major athlete. My mom, genetically is blessed, thank God.
Yeah.
And they were funny. I grew up in a funny household. There was a lot of, we're Irish, so there's definitely that deep emotional thing, but there was a lot of laughter. I'm looking for laughter and joy. It's all about joy for me at this point in my life, because you know what? And it's, when you said you stay too long or knowing when to exit a conversation, there's a lot of that too, where you're just like, oh God, do we have to go down? Like nobody knows where you're just coming from. Maybe you just came from a case that was really tough, right?
Right.
You saw a woman that was struggling with something and there's real life things that go on and you didn't really want to have another heavy conversation about,
exactly.
Whatever. So, I think I'm really seeking laughter and joy and having a lot of lightness around me because we need it. It's so, it's so important to just not take things so seriously.
Right. What keeps you, this will be our last kind of topic. What kind of keeps you motivated and what's driving you these days? Like, what are your goals going into this kind of like second or third or however we want to call it phase of life?
Well, you know what? I had these goals. I had goals that I stopped to, sort of fulfill somebody else's goals. Right. And I moved down here and I changed my life and I left a big city and I did it. And I think I did it really well. So now I'm picking up my goals where I was at. I really love my independence is very important to me. It always has been. It doesn't matter who I'm with, what I'm doing, marriage, whatever. I've always been very independent and I like to make investments. Right now I'm investing in an AI
I love that.
I'm
That's
really
everything.
doing some really cool things. I've done the gum, I've done this, I've done that. I've always done little things along the way, but I love to be in business. I have a business mind.
Yeah.
And I was invested when I was really young because I had a portfolio when I was in my teens. I bought my own car. So that's really important to me. And I think that I got a little out there a little bit with what's wrong, like what do I need? And I needed to accomplish my goals before the end of my life. Whenever that is, if I'm given, another 50 years, then mazel tov.
Yeah.
But I'm well on my way to accomplishing those goals because it was a number in my head and I had it since I was a young girl, and I love it. And I also I have a specific taste. And even if it's a house, if it's a car, it's a whatever, I don't want to ask permission. I like to do my own things. I like my own stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm a collector. I don't necessarily wear what I have, but when I collect well. Art, jewelry, which I don't really, everything I need, I have.
Right.
I don't really need anything anymore,
That's a wonderful place to be.
It is because you know what? I'm also not, I think when you're younger, it's fun. It's like a way of showing the world that you're successful.
Yeah.
And now it's
and
like.
I fall trapped to that.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at.
I have to.
So excited when I was able to buy this car and so excited when I was able to buy this bag and things like that.
And
it is like, there's some healthiness to that because
there
it is showing your accomplishments. Yeah. And, rewarding yourself, but there is a limit. It doesn't have to keep going.
Well, and I think that once you get that, it's like, okay, that's not where it's at. And I've always liked things of value. Like I'm a big value girl. So even if it is a Birkin bag, I will always buy something that I can sell. I don't buy, I buy like, the little cheapy t-shirt and whatever. But if I buy because it's like an investment, you know, but that's really where I'm at right now. I have some really fun things on the table. I'm going to be creating these retreats in Ocala.
Oh my gosh.
My friend Bobby Genovese has this unbelievable ranch with polo ponies, 100 miles of trails, and bringing in very world-renowned doctors like yourself to come in and do long weekends and everything
amazing.
from meditation, TM, healing, breath work, huge, horse therapy, it's gorgeous. So going this Sunday actually to map out the first retreat, which we're going to have in October. Amazing. And that'll be all available. You can find that. My Instagram is also the best way to find out about me.
Where can people find you?
Margaret Bastick Luce is probably the best to just, find out what I'm doing there. And then Vivant is the magazine and we'll be hosting the retreats. Vivant.
Yeah.
But I want to bring, I've really collected and been in front of some amazing people. I also do exosomes. So we need to talk about that the next time.
Yeah.
But when I did the last cool peel, I did the cool laser.
Yeah.
I put the exosomes on right away. It was literally game changer in 2 days. It was unbelievable.
No, it's the newest technology.
I'm very into that and I want to bring that to the ranch. So I think because I always go to California.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I've had my kind of fill with it. The last time I was out there, I was like, and I do the hiking and I do these rigorous, I do go about once a year.
Exactly.
And it's amazing. But I find myself not called to it. I want to create my own now.
Do it yourself.
Yeah. So you'll have to come visit and
100%.
give one of your lectures.
I'm in. I would love to.
Bring all your goodies.
Yeah. No, that would be fabulous. Regenerative medicine is where it's at.
It really, really is.
Longevity and just moving forward with that technology it's so wonderful we have that.
Oh God, it's a blessing. And as long as you buy well, you research, who you do the business with. And, I actually had it injected in my knee during COVID. I was running with the Jamaican track coach. And I thought like I was back in my high school. I was killing it. Anyways, I tore my meniscus. Top surgeon was like, no way, you're going to need surgery, I don't want that scar. So got the injections and it helped me right away. It was amazing. Even when I hurt my leg, skateboarding the other day, mesotherapy with the exosomes down the back of the calf, over and out.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's real. It's real.
It's really real. It helps with brain fog,
of course.
NAD.
Yes.
I'm also
glutathione.
And the alpha lipoic I found, the last one I told you I went through that little down period, it was after season. And I'm like, why am I feeling so drained and a little down?
Yeah.
I did the ALA and it was like, bing.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot, that we are learning about, a lot that we already know about. And I think it's important for people to research good providers who are going to give you honest information. I was having dinner the other day and, we got on the topic of hormones and we won't digress to that, but just because your labs say your hormones are normal doesn't mean they're normal.
Yeah.
And you really want to research peptides and who's giving them and where they're sourcing them and all the things.
Yeah.
Like it's important, learning about this stuff. Don't just listen to this podcast and go ask for, CGC 687 or whatever it may be. Like do your due diligence, get your blood work done, see a trusted physician who's doing this type of work, who's also proving it by doing the work themselves.
True. Yeah, that's it. Exactly. There's some great people in this area too that we have that
we're very lucky. But I'm lucky to have you on today.
I'm so lucky to have you.
This has
You're
been
just
amazing.
so awesome. What a great girl you are.
Thank you.
She's even better in person, guys.
I know. We need to post this on YouTube so people can watch.
You know what the thing is? The message really is instead of buying all that other stuff, invest in yourself.
Oh my gosh.
Invest in your cells. When my friend said, "Oh, this is so expensive or that's so expensive," I'm like, "But the bag at Saks is like not, and you need another one." I just, So invest in yourself. Take care of yourself.
I love that you said that.
And don't worry about anybody else or showing off with anybody else. The coolest people actually are just the goofiest, and they don't care. They're not into all that stuff. It's fun.
100%. Well, everyone, please make sure, if you're not already, follow Margaret Bastick Luce. That's her handle. And then you'll have links to all the magazines that she works with and some of the other work she's doing. She posts regularly, so you'll be able to keep up.
Have fun with me.
Yeah. And I'll put her handle in the podcast notes. So if you're driving or whatever, stop, pause, don't text and drive or try to follow and drive. Don't DM and drive. No. But also, if you haven't already, please subscribe, leave me a 5-star review. I love having guests like Margaret who give us the reality, give us the truth bombs. And that's what you've really done today. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, gorgeous.
All right, y'all. Catch you next time.